Let's talk about a guy named Alex. So Alex gets called into his manager's office again, and his manager looks at him and just lays into him, saying, "Your desk is an absolute embarrassment. How can you possibly get any work done in that chaos?" Alex just nods, apologizes, walks back to his desk, and then proceeds to solve a complex engineering problem that had literally stumped his entire team for 3 solid weeks. But you know what the crazy part is? Nobody talked about that massive breakthrough. They only talked about his messy desk. So we're going to do a massive paradigm shift in this explainer today. What if your mess isn't actually a failure? What if the mess is the method? Look, for our entire lives, we've been conditioned to believe that a messy workspace equals a complete lack of discipline. But I'm here to show you exactly why, for some of the most brilliant minds out there, a little bit of chaos is actually the optimal way to work. The real-world consequences of getting this wrong are honestly pretty massive. On one hand, we've bought into this pervasive myth that a pristine, clean desk automatically means you have a perfectly organized mind. And on the flip side, we have this deeply unfair stigma that a messy desk means you're scattered, lazy, or just totally unprofessional. Because of this, every single year, millions of incredibly talented people get passed over for promotions. They get judged harshly in interviews, and they're just quietly written off. Not because of their actual work, but simply because of how their desk looks. We're using a desk as a proxy for an entire personality, and it is costing real people some serious opportunities. To show you just how deep this bias runs, check out this number. 57%. According to a 2011 survey, that is the percentage of American workers who completely admit to silently judging their coworkers based purely on how clean their desks are. It's wild, right? It's practically become a religion in the modern workplace. But here's the thing about dogmatic beliefs. They tend to collapse when you look at the hard data. Back in 2013, researchers at the University of Minnesota put this exact thing to the test. They took 2 groups of people and asked them to solve creative problems. One group was put in a perfectly spotless room and the other in a profoundly messy room. And the results are mind-blowing. The group in the messy room actually generated 28% more creative, highly original solutions. Let that sink in for a second. The exact same chaos that the corporate world uses to penalize people is the very environment that sparks breakthrough thinking. The crucial takeaway here is that messy environments actively trigger breaks from convention. And breaking from tradition is literally what innovation is all about. When you look back at history's absolute greatest innovators, the proof is right there in plain sight. Albert Einstein's workspace was famously, wonderfully catastrophic. Mark Twain's study looked like a paper storm had just ripped through it. And Steve Jobs? He surrounded himself with this impenetrable, organized chaos that outsiders just completely misunderstood. So is that all just a massive coincidence? Or is this actually the blueprint for how genius operates? Let's look at it this way. Imagine your brain is a city. A perfectly organized city where every road is a grid and everything is neatly labeled. Sure, it's incredibly efficient, but it's also totally predictable, right? Nothing genuinely surprising ever happens there. Now compare that to a chaotic, layered city. Think of the buzzing streets of New York. It's messy, yes, but that exact chaos is where you stumble into unexpected connections and cultural breakthroughs. Your messy desk isn't urban decay. It's a living, breathing ecosystem. A random sticky note catches your eye at the exact right moment, and boom, it sparks an idea that a perfectly sterile desk would have completely missed. Now, we really need to shift gears for a minute and expose the darker, systemic truth behind all of this. Why do corporations push the clean desk agenda so hard? Well, it's because the system inherently punishes nonconformity. They enforce clean desk policies not because it actually boosts productivity in any real way, but because a clean desk is visible compliance. It sends a very clear message. I follow the rules, and I'm manageable. A messy desk, on the other hand, boldly says I'm in the middle of a complex process that you might not understand. It's nonconformity, and rigid hierarchies find that deeply threatening. And what is the actual cost of enforcing all this visible compliance? Look at this stat from Gallup's State of the Global Workplace report. Right now, only 23% of employees worldwide feel engaged at work. Just 23%. This proves that this corporate theater, forcing people to prioritize looking productive over actually being productive, is quite literally squeezing the life and creativity right out of the workforce. The clean desk policy is really just one exhausting act in that whole performance. Think about a forest floor for a second. If you look down, it looks like an absolute mess, right? It's just covered in fallen leaves, dead branches, apparent clutter everywhere. But if you were to come in and sweep all of that away, the entire ecosystem would instantly collapse. That decay, that clutter, is the essential fertilizer for explosive growth. Your messy desk functions exactly the same way. It provides this rich peripheral stimulation that feeds your mind, keeps your brain actively firing, and fertilizes your next big breakthrough. So let's rapidly debunk 3 toxic workplace myths that are holding us all back. Myth number 1. A clean desk equals a productive person. The reality? Entirely different. A clean desk often just equals a person who prioritizes their appearance over actual production. Because appearing productive on the surface is absolutely not the same thing as getting real results. Alright, myth number 2. A tidy space means less stress. This is a massive misconception. The reality is that for highly creative people, a perfectly clean, sterile desk actually induces anxiety. It is completely cognitively understimulating for them. Studies actually show these thinkers need ambient visual material around them to process and draw inspiration from. If you take that away, their creative engines just stall out. And let's go ahead and crush myth number 3. Organization is a virtue. The reality here is that organization is not morally superior. It's just a tool. And it completely depends on the context. Yes, a surgeon absolutely needs sterile, predictable order, for sure. But a novelist, an engineer, a designer, they thrive on beautiful disorder. Treating one cognitive style as somehow superior to another is just a fundamental misunderstanding disguised as productivity advice. So if you've ever felt unfairly judged for your workspace, here is exactly how you take your power back. I call this the 3E solution framework. Step 1, explore your cognitive style. Step 2, engage intentional mess. And step 3, excel by defending your process. Let's break down exactly how you can start applying this today. First up, step 1, ask yourself, are you an associative thinker? Do you naturally connect seemingly unrelated concepts? If you do, stop fighting your own wiring. Embrace it. Step 2, apply the 80-20 rule. Now, this isn't an excuse to live in absolute squalor. You still need to clear your pathways. But let your surfaces breathe and collect inspiration. And finally, step 3, defend your process. High performers always develop deep personal systems, and they fiercely protect those systems from any outside interference. I want to anchor all of this with one of my absolute favorite quotes, famously posed by Albert Einstein. He asked, "If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what then is an empty desk a sign?" I really want you to remember that the next time someone casts a judgmental glance over at your workspace. Your chaos is your method. It's not a confession of laziness, and you literally do not owe anyone an apology for how your unique brain works. So I'll leave you with this final, provocative question to chew on. Why were you taught to be ashamed of your mess in the first place? The most brilliant minds in history definitely weren't the ones with the tidiest desks. They were the ones who finally stopped letting other people's comfort define their worth and their potential. If these ideas shifted something in how you think today, don't keep it to yourself. Share this explainer with someone who's been told they're too messy to succeed. Keep exploring the fascinating psychology of how our environments shape our minds, and I'll catch you in the next one.